lining, every cloud has silver lining. Greg Evans.
Do you have your heads in a cloud? Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, you do. You absolutely have your heads in a cloud. Whether you understand what I'm talking about, whether you agree, it's irrelevant. Because I'm here to tell you tonight that the world has changed and your heads are going to be stuck in a cloud for the rest of your lives. Of course, I'm talking about the cloud. It's an IT phenomenon. It's the ubiquitous name that we give today to what is basically the internet. So, what is a cloud? Well, here's the definition from the National Institute of Standards and Technology in the United States. Cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. Got it? Straightforward, isn't it? It took them 5 years to come up with that definition. Are you any the wiser? I don't see any wise looks in the room. But that's rubbish. It's really a very simple concept. Cloud, or the cloud, is just it's a nickname that was given to basically the internet. So when you use the internet, you're actually using what is termed today the cloud. Now, how that name came about, if you were ever in IT and you saw the early diagrams of a network, they would show the desktop connected to the server was connected to the firewall, and the firewall was connected through a brick wall to a cloud, which represented the amorphous mass, which is actually the internet today. So it became known as the cloud. So, what does this mean for you? Why should I care? Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, change is upon us. And it's coming at an ever-increasing pace. The cloud is going to change your lives. It's going to change the lives of your children and their children's children. Nothing is going to be the same. You cannot escape it. You cannot outrun it. You cannot ignore it. Unless you live in the outback somewhere that's got no mobile phone, no telephony, no satellite, no communication whatsoever, and you're living off the fruit of the land. Then maybe you can get by without the cloud. But today, if you want to live a modern lifestyle, I'm sorry, but you have to have your head in the cloud. And I'm here to tell you today a few things about what that means, because it's going to change our society. It will start, if we have a quick look at the 5 essential characteristics of the cloud, it will help me to explain to you the next step in terms of its impact upon business. And then I'm going to talk about the impact upon you personally in your life. So, the cloud really is about accessing services, whether that be software, data storage, computing power, whatever it is, but it's accessing IT services on a pay-per-use basis over the internet. So if anybody asks you, what's the cloud? You say, look, is when I buy services over the internet and I pay for them just as I use them. That's what cloud is. So on-demand, self-service, they're all network access, so it's got to be ubiquitous coverage. And the internet is very widely, we've got a lot of wide coverage today. Even without warning on the weekend, or waiting for appointments. Resource pooling, rapid or elasticity or expansion. In other words, the power of the service you're buying can expand with your demand, or it can contract if your demand reduces. And I'll explain in a moment. And of course it's going to be measured. Why do they measure it? Because they're going to bill you for it. That's why. Okay. So, I said this is ubiquitous. I said it's coming. It's here now. It's changing our lives, even if we don't know it. So what's going to change? I work in IT. And I can tell you that every company that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, month to month, year to year, whatever it is, but every company that you touch will have to have a cloud strategy. Because if they don't take advantage of what's happening on the internet and our interaction, our ability to rely on the internet, they will go broke. Why? Because we're going to access their services over the internet, the cloud is going to turn the providers of those services like Google or Amazon into mini telcos or large telcos. IT will contract to a few large companies on a worldwide basis, offering services via the cloud. It's going to change the economics of IT. Companies are no longer want to spend on capital infrastructure around IT. They'll be buying their services on an OPEX model. Now, for those accountants in the room, that's a very significant change, because capital expenditure means that you've got to outlay huge sums of money, then you depreciate it. Operational expense means you pay as you use it for what you use. This is a critical point, because it's going to change the way people do business. And for companies like mine, in IT, it's changing the very fabric of what we do as an IT company. So how's it going to impact me? Well, you're going to live via your contact with the internet through the cloud. It's going to rule your life, if it doesn't already today. And if you see a Y-generation person with a mobile phone, you'll understand what I mean. You ask them a question, the first thing they do is Google it. That's using the cloud. You will communicate with friends, associates, business, and even your fridge in the future via the cloud. Why would you want to communicate with your fridge? Well, it's going to tell you you're out of milk and you need to order it. If you stay in the Hilton in Sydney today, as soon as you pick up that bottle of red wine off the minibar, it bills you. It knows. It doesn't help if you put it back there filled with water, it still bills you. Your personality profile will be a reality in cyberspace. Do you use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn? You will. Or you will use an application just like them. Because in the future, our communication is going to be by those social networks. It won't be by the phone, or your phone connection will be by the internet. But everything you do and say will be held in the cloud. And once it's in the cloud, it's there forever. Eventually, everything you do will be stored in the cloud in one way or another. Now that's going to change your life. It means that your photos, your memories, your videos, your conversations, your letters, your emails, everything will be there for you to grab and retrieve at a moment's notice. It also means that, despite best efforts, somebody like the US government might want to retrieve them as well. So there's a danger in dealing with this change. you need to be aware. A, be aware of what's going onto the cloud about you. Be wary about what you commit electronically, either by voice, by text or by email. Acclimate your approach to the world. In other words, when you shop, do you use flybys? Well, guess what? Flybys is a way of collecting information about what you buy. The companies then use a data mining technique using very powerful computers available over the cloud to review what you're doing. That's very impolite. Be reserved in what information you share. It's permanent once it goes to the cloud. And educate yourself on how to secure your information and how to keep vital information from being there electronically. And remember, every cloud has a silver lining. It's going to make your life easier, quicker, faster, more helpful. But it's vital that you be aware of what's going on in the cloud.